Well, good evening, everybody. Sorry about that with the shakiness. For some reason, that phone always gives me an issue when I go live. I'm not sure why. How's everybody doing out there? Now, we won't run long tonight, Ed. Or Rick. That was not Ed. Hi, Ed, as well. Yeah, we won't run long tonight. I got Heath actually coming up behind me tonight, so we'll stick to our full hour. But yeah, I got a couple of things to work on tonight. Still same stuff as last week. It's just been a crazy busy week, so I have not had much progress on these at all. So we'll continue to make them a stream-only project. So, oh well. Just a little bit of context. The AC44 here should, in theory, be ready to go, but I ran into a bit of a problem where the LED that I'm using to drive the ditch lights is unfortunately just so not powerful enough to run. For some reason, the right-hand ditch light, or the conductor side ditch light, excuse me, is just not showing up bright enough. So actually what I'm going to do is modify the light piping and just add 2 separate LEDs for each of them. Hey, Tim. Yeah, I saw you got your shed built. That's awesome. Exciting that you got that taken care of. Looked like it was a lot of work. Okay, so we're going to dive into the AC44 first here, but then I actually have some fun. I figured we'd go through a little bit of a mail call. Hopefully you guys can see these because it's going to be really close to the camera, but I've got a bunch of different packages that need to be opened up. And what better way to do it than on stream? So, yeah, we'll dive on in. The way I'm going to do the ditch light modification is I'm literally just going to snip off the main body of this this little light piping so that I have 2 separate ends to work with, and then I'm just going to glue LEDs to each side of the housing that's left over, or the piping that's left over. I've actually done this before with Kato locomotives. I had an SD80 Mac that I installed separately functioning ditch lights in long before those other units came out that did the same thing. But yeah, hoping that we can kind of save the tape in here, because this is really just in here as a light bleed masking. I like to use electrical tape for that, just because these Kato locomotives were designed to run off of a single LED. And because of that, they didn't care about light bleed because they all came on with the same function. So glad you don't have to mess with ditch lights for your... Oh, come on, Rick. They're not that hard. Never mind the fact that, you know, there's other locomotives in your era that had much wilder lighting functions than ditch lights, so. Okay, let's see if I can get that back down underneath here. No reason why I can't still use this tape, even though it's got a little bit of paint on it, but that's okay. Honestly, too, the thing with ditch lights is these Katos are probably the worst factory installed ditch lights to work with, just because of the way that they did all the lighting features. But a lot of other locomotives that came with factory installed ditch lights really aren't this big of a struggle to deal with. Okay, so we're gonna get the ditch lights, or the LEDs, glued on. Hey Adam, how's it going? Lots of frustration, Tim. Yeah, I bet those metal shed kits, I'm sure, are not the most forgiving thing in the world to work with. It's not like a, dimensional lumber type of deal where it's it's easy to correct a mistake or anything. That metal is a little more unforgiving, right? All right, so throw those extra ditch lights, or those extra LEDs. Wow, I keep just wanting to say ditch lights for some reason. And then I just need a little scrap to dabble out some super glue on so I can dunk my electronics in there, or my LEDs. Wow, I cannot say LEDs tonight for some reason. Very strange. Let's go with this here. These will work. Okay, hopefully I've got enough super glue left to do this. That's the only struggle I'm gonna have here, I think. Oh boy. Should have gotten more super glue. Uh-oh. Let's see if it just needs to be unclogged or... Yeah, I think it just needs to be unclogged. There's plenty in there. There we go. Beautiful. So the way I'm going to do these actually, so that I get a nice clean, no light bleed sort of situation going on, is I'm actually going to just basically have some heat shrink tubing basically ready to slide on once the super glue has dried for the LEDs onto the light piping. And then I'll go ahead and just apply a little bit of indirect heat, nothing that's going to damage anything in there. I don't even need like a super flush fit, but yeah. Hey, Rhode Island PW, we're installing LEDs in this Kato AC4400. This is a project I was working on last week, and unfortunately didn't quite get done over the remainder of the week here. So we're going to finish it up here on stream tonight, hopefully. So again, just going to take a dab of super glue and touch it to the piping. Pray it stays. Might need to use some tweezers just to secure it a little bit better. Yeah, this is a lot more difficult of a situation than the lenses end up being, just because the piping is kind of in a fixed location and it can't like move around with the LED. Hey, look at that, I actually said LED correctly that time. Okay, I think that should work for that one. Yeah, it is a good time, right? This type of stuff takes a little bit of patience, but usually the results are worth the time put in. And I'm sure for my buddy Matt, who this locomotive belongs to, he'll be appreciative of the efforts once they're done. Wow, Tim, 1 a.m. is a rough time frame this time of year. I'm sure it was freezing. Props to you for getting through that build. Alright, let's see if we can get lucky and get this to stay. Man. Okay, we'll leave those for now. Yeah, galvanized steel. Oh, Bet you couldn't feel your hands when you did that. Alright, so we're going to let those dry in there. Oh, of course it shifted on me. Son of a gun. Stay there, LED, please. Begging you. Okay. So, let's have some fun opening some mail. Somebody sing me the Blues Clues mail song. We got enough millennials in the chat to do that? So this is from my good buddy Jim Gibbs, and it's got a little bit to do with the upcoming 2308 project that's still sitting here in primer because I haven't had time to do anything with it, unfortunately. But Jim did his own 2308. He did it up in Finger Lake scheme itself. But he had, well, here, I'll open it up and show you. He had some leftover decals for me. That even though mine's going to be in a different scheme, are going to be useful. Just some number boards. That's all that's there. He had a couple extra number boards. This is kind of the biggest pain in the neck when it comes to doing any sort of decal work. So, yeah, not an exciting thing there, but some of this other stuff's going to be relatively exciting. Let's see, which one is this? Okay, this should be what I need for the other locomotive we're going to work on tonight as soon as the glue has dried on these LEDs and I can put it off to the side without worrying about it, which it looks like we are now having some issues staying stuck. So we're going to try to reapply. You going to stay there? Yeah. Holy macaroni. Oh boy. If this light piping was at all friendly to coming out of there, I would go ahead and do that, but it's a pain in the neck to get it in and out of these Kato units, so here we are, trying it this way. Okay, if that's going to be a problem, I will I'll work on it off stream, but we'll try to work off to the side here, opening up this one. So this is from That Train Place, and it's actually more ditch light housings. So I realized after last week's stream that this locomotive 1442 actually has a different type of ditch light on the front of it than the ones that we were using. So the ones that it has are they're a deck mounted ditch light, and they have these weird little fins off the side of them. And nobody makes the exact one, but I found these ones that are really, really close to being correct, that you can see they've got like the little wings off the side. So I'm gonna work on getting these painted up the right color gray. And then I'm not going to use those incandescent bulbs. We'll end up using LEDs on these, of course. And then those will be what gets installed on this on 1442. So pretty cool there. All right, so this one is from Wallace Locomotive Works. And you're going to be really shocked when you see what's in this one. Because, you know, you could never guess based on what we've already opened what might be in this box. That's a whole lot of sarcasm, in case you're wondering. I got a feeling I'm going to end up bumping those ditch lights one too many times here, and we're going to end up in the same situation we were in. All right. Surprise, surprise. More ditch lights. I decided I was using so many of these Wallace ditch light housings that I might as well just order them in bulk. I got a couple of pilot mounts, and then I got a couple of ditch light or deck mount mounts. So these ones will be for the 2308 project, and then I'll have a couple of spare sets on hand for any sort of trouble I get myself into with that. If anybody wants to check out the Wallace Locomotives Works website, it looks like they've got some QR codes here. So you can go ahead and check that out. I'll give them a quick plug in the stream. They're definitely worth checking out. Their housings are really nice, finely detailed, 3D printed, and they look great. That's exactly those are the housings that are on that 1804 build that I did, and I'm really happy with how those turned out. Okay, here's the really fun one. This is going to be really fun to check out. I wonder if do I have room over here where you can see it? Or should I just be brave and try to move this? I should be brave and try to move it. This one was a bit of a splurge. I haven't spent really a ton of money hobby-wise lately, other than, well, the video you'll see tomorrow. 10 a.m. We're starting a brand new layout build for anybody who's interested. If you're not subscribed and you're in the live stream tonight, make sure you do subscribe, because there's a big video coming tomorrow. But anyway, this is my only other big splurge, kind of hobby-wise lately. And I got this based on a post that I saw in the Canadian modelers group. Somebody had gotten one of these, and I thought, oh man, that's perfect for me too. This is a nice little small action camera, and it's kind of the perfect like narrow size and height to just go right on a depressed center flat car and give you a nice cab ride overview of your layout. So really excited for that. It's got this nice little thing, monitor with a recorder. Apparently it will link to my phone in some capacity. I'm really kind of hoping that I can figure out a way to link it to my phone and then connect the feed to YouTube so that I can live stream like ops. Instead of doing Talkin Trains live at the workbench, maybe we'll be doing some Talkin Trains cab view op sessions from the layout. I thought that would be really, really, really cool to try to do. And even if we can't figure out how to do it as a cab ride view, that's eventually something I'd like to take on anyway, is op sessions, live streams, instead of just from the workbench. There's just a lot going on work-wise at the workbench, so that's where we've been lately. But yeah, you can see it's got this incredibly small form factor, especially once it's out of the waterproof case. It does look like this lens needs to be cleaned really bad. I hope it's not scratch. Yeah, nice and clean. But yeah, this thing is really, really small, smaller than a GoPro. It's nothing fancy. It only does 1080p, but should be cool. Oh, Ed, you picked up a proto throttle. That's really cool. I really want to so proto throttle wise, it doesn't make sense for me to have that for the main layout, just because there's so many Finger Lakes locomotives that it's just not logistically possible to be doing that. But now that I've got that 1804 for the the upcoming build you'll see tomorrow, I would really love to also pick up a proto throttle just to run with that, especially at Fremo meets. I think that would be a lot of fun. So, but anyway, yeah, Rick's not a big fan of proto throttle. I did enjoy it. I got the chance to run with Paul Ponarelli's a couple of months ago at one of my op sessions, and I had a lot of fun with it. So they're pretty interesting, I would say. But yeah, there you have it. This should be really fun to have on the layout in some capacity. I've just got to figure out what flat car I need to buy so that I can kind of mount it on that and start creating some cab ride videos. Those seem to do really well on YouTube for some reason. It's not like it baffles me a little bit because it's not a format I've ever been super interested in myself, but I look at all these other guys doing cab ride videos and they're all like super successful. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm a sucker for I'm a sucker for selling out for views. So you know, I'll do what I have to, you know. All right, let's see what we're doing here. Oh, Bronco's coming down to say hi because he thinks somebody's down here. Say hi, buddy. I can't turn the camera for everybody to see. Oh, my big head keeps getting in the way. Let's see if we can do something about that. Just checking my feed. My feed is a little delayed. So, Adam's been spending too much money on laser cutter supplies. Yeah, I can imagine that's not a cheap endeavor, Adam. Hopefully that'll work for the angle. Okay, so I'm gonna set this off to the side. I think I'm gonna mess with it. I'm not super happy with how those LEDs are sitting on there, and I think it's gonna require more focus than I'm able to give it on stream. So actually, I just realized I don't think I have. Yeah. I was really hoping that another product that I needed was going to come in, and that was the lenses that I needed to do the headlights and ditch lights here. I'm actually really disappointed that those haven't come in because those have I ordered those before last live stream, and they're still not in. So, what the heck? Anyway, let's see. Well, I suppose we will try to see if we can get this all figured out then, if anything. We do have a little bit of work to do here. Gotta get the old LED pulled out and the new one's wired in. You want to play with the big ops guys? Okay, Ed. You're the biggest ops guy. So what's that say? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this here-ish. Yeah, Tim, that's kind of the same boat like I'm in. Like I didn't want a proto throttle before now because it just didn't make sense for me to have one because you kind of like it you can use it with different locomotives, but it's kind of a pain in the neck to switch back and forth. So I kind of didn't see the point until now I'm doing the upcoming project that you'll see tomorrow. And you know, it's only a one locomotive layout, so it kind of makes more sense for me to do that. So what's everybody else got on their workbenches? Let's hear what you're working on. I'm sure Adam, you've got some laser cutter projects going on. What's the latest and greatest there? Tim, I think you said you had some kits on your workbench. What are the kits? All right, let's see if I can get this old heat shrink off without damaging anything. Yeah, you can use multiple locomotives with it, Ed. It's just that, you know, switching back and forth between multiple locomotives is an annoying thing. Sweet, Rick. Back on the ON3 project side. flip-flopping back and forth, I'm sure, between, you know, HO, O and 3, O. You got a good pattern going at this point? Okay, so now I've got to disconnect the old wire from this bunch here. Well, it'd help if I figured out which one it was first. There we go. Okay. So we'll pull that one out of there. How are we looking? Are these relatively on there? Not really. Not as much as I would like. Maybe what I'll do... Yeah. I'm going to get the heat shrink on there and close to it, and then I'm going to take my clear part cement and just put a glob of that on. Run the heat shrinking over the still wet mess, and then hope it stays put here. Let's see if that's going to work. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll figure it out. Alright, drum roll please. Okay, that one's on. That's good news. One down. Okay, let's just make sure we got... That's going to be the problem, is now I think I got this one. There we go. Okay. This one might be a bit more of a struggle. Let's see how we do here. Oh boy. Yeah, that rewiring project, I'm sure, is a pain in the neck. Let's see here. There's my glob there. Yeah, Rick, I missed having you up at the club last night. I don't know if you heard what happened, but nobody had a stinking key to the place, and of course Mike wasn't there. So we waited for a couple of hours for Vern to show up, or not a couple hours, like a half hour outside for Vern to show up, because none of the other key holders had bothered to bring their key. I was like, man, we are way too dependent on Mr. Pyzik to be here for us. I hope, I think the other key holders learned their lesson. Alright, just need to get this heat shrinking over, and my job would... This will be done. Come on. Work with me, heat shrink. Please. I'm begging you. Ah. That's not what I wanted to see. Oh, man. Should get some of that super glue accelerator. Use it here in this situation. Yeah, right. Like we're gonna be able to convince the bank to give us keyless entry to that building, Rick. Not a chance. Okay. This is probably stupid to not wait any longer, or wait less time than I did the first time, but maybe we'll get lucky. Yeah, you and I both knew that Mike wasn't coming. Apparently none of the other key holders did, for some reason. But we eventually got in, worked on a bunch of trees. That was fun. The area of the layout that I've been doing super trees on looks a lot different now than it did to start the night, that's for sure. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yep, there we go. Sweet. Okay, so now comes the challenge of getting indirect heat in there close enough to just shrink the heat shrink without damaging anything else. So let's be very careful here. I'm not going to dwell on this too much. I really just want to get a little bit of shrinky happening, and that's it. Just enough to keep things in place. Two hands on the soldering iron just to stabilize it. Okay, that's enough. No more. Yeah, there wasn't an email because Mike didn't go. And Mike always sends out the email. I digress, though. Okay, let's see if we can organize this rat's nest of wires here a little bit before we start resoldering things. Make sure we don't forget about our... Yes, we still have our resistor here. Should be able to get away with using still. Ends of the light bars. I mean, sure, you could do that if I didn't have the issue that I had with them. Okay. There's that negative. That negative. So they don't flash, and I don't have enough accessories to put them on separate functions, so these two negatives are going to go to the same function output. Which really isn't that big a deal. Just got to get them soldered together. Let's see here. I need my helping hands for this for sure. Better get that out of the way. Of course they came apart. Nice thing about the heat shrink is that's going to also act as a light bleed blocker too. Oh, come on. These do not want to stay together for me. Hopefully that's gonna be good enough. Yeah. Okay, there's that. Now I just gotta redo all the common positives together. Ooh. There's one ditch light. Two ditch lights. Okay, and then I should have my headlights still together here. Perfect. Let's just make sure they're not running tangled through a mess here. That way I can do some nice neat wire management once everything's dust is settled. Okay, there we go. I know there's still some wet glue in that heat shrink, so I'm trying to be as gentle as I possibly can here. Framing for Module 4 put together. Sweet, Tim. And this is for the Warsaw Industrial that we're talking about? Heck of a time keeping these ones together too. Alright, so there's that. Just need to retin the resistor. This is going to be a little precarious because there is not a lot of meat left on the bone of that resistor. But it's an easy replacement if it's not going to work. So I'm going to try to use it as it is first, and then we can go from there if it's not going to work out. Okay, just need to stage my heat shrink here. Very cool, Tim. I'm surprised about how little I recognize those names. You know, I've grown up, you know, not too far from Warsaw my entire life. Spent plenty of time there. Used to drive down to the Lance's Bulk Foods like every freaking weekend with my parents to go get peanut butter and all sorts of crazy stuff from the Amish store. So I can't believe I don't recognize those names, having spent time in the area as much as I have. Granted, I'm sure they are, you know, older industries, but that'll work. Get my heat shrink done. Even nowadays, I wind up in Warsaw, you know, probably 7-8 times a summer at least, between randomly running into R&S and chasing it and going down to Yummy's for some ice cream. Always got good flavors of ice cream in Yummy's. Alright, so now we just got to get those ditch light functions tied in. They're almost older than both of us combined. Fair enough, fair enough. Alright, heat shrink there. And then I just need my brown wire here. Make sure I don't wire it in all tangled. Bring my helping hands over as well so I can pull it out away from the locomotive when I do the install here, or the soldering. As soon as I have this done, I will I'll run over to the layout and test it, and you're gonna have to take my word as to whether or not it's good enough, and then we'll get it buttoned up. The only buildings left are the Embry Lantern, Fairview Paper Box. Oh, that's pretty cool. At least a couple of the buildings are still up. It's a darn shame about that freaking freight house that idiot guy tore down. Was it last year or the year before? Couldn't believe that. Unbelievable. All right, I am going to get this thing tested. Like I said, you'll have to take my word for it, because I don't want to spin you guys around here. You'll be able to hear it, though. Still waiting for my throttle to boot up here, so it'll be just a second. Thing sounds pretty good though. Scale sound system speaker, and again the Tsunami 2 board. Man, this thing is taking absolutely forever. Any of these other ones on already? Of course not. Why would they be? Should probably turn them all on now just so they get an update before the next stop session. Wow. It's the one disadvantage to these $50 phones is just how long the boot time is ridiculous. Oh boy. What are we doing here? Holy cow. Started moving on its own for some reason. That was strange. Oh yeah, Matt, it's alive. Started moving. That was scary. Oh my goodness. Alright, we finally boot this dang thing. Finally. Alright. Be right back here. Sorry about the riveting content here. Alright. What are we doing here? Holy cow. Why? What is going on? Boy, there's something going on with this thing. That's weird. For some reason, this thing will not stop moving as soon as I put it on the track. And that's a little bit scary because it's not even responding, so that's fun. It's okay, Matt. I think I might need to restart my whole DCC system. I think that's what's bugging out. So, of course, I haven't even verified that things are working on this yet, because for some reason, it just completely stopped on me. It's got a mind of its own, yeah. Oh, man, I'm a little sad. This is not making for the most riveting content tonight. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, like I said, I was really hoping to have the lenses in my mailbox for this thing today, and they were nowhere to be found. Could have sworn I saw that they were delivered. So I can't work on that yet. I've still got the 2308 project over here in Primer, and haven't started working on that yet just because I don't really want to until I've got other projects off the workbench, because having 3 on the workbench is a little bit too much. But as soon as the DCC's rebooted here, we'll give this thing another test to see what's going on. Hopefully it's not a decoder issue, because that would be really frustrating. Here's something that I might mount that camera on. I think it would be fun. Just a little double-sided foam tape. Throw it right on this old chassis of a caboose. Might ride a little higher than I want it to, but we'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to have some cab ride videos in there, no matter what. So. Alright, system's booting back up here. Oh, I can tell you good news. I did at least get this all tested. I got the sound file all programmed in there for the LTEX unit, so that's all working great, which is pretty cool. Yeah, this caboose is actually was a cleaning car, and it hit the ground during an accident, a very unfortunate accident. So, hey, maybe it'll make a good bed for this thing. I think the camera's got enough weight to it that I could just pull these weights off and use that basically as the weight. Probably even keep those dusters on there and do two things at once. Alright, I got Jammer booting up here, so it won't be too much longer till we can test this thing and then start buttoning it up. But in the meantime, let's play with this new toy. I'm just gonna keep it simple, stupid, you know. A little double-sided foam tape. Stick it right to the flat car, quote-unquote flat car. Make sure it's kind of straight on there, obviously. Don't want to be looking not straight down the tracks, you know. What do you think? I'll make a nice little cab ride view. Yeah, this was a pretty cheap caboose too, Tim. This was just one of the Atlas Trainman New York Central cabooses. Nothing too crazy. It's actually still even got the Accumate on it. If it's gonna work good for this cab ride bed, then we'll work on it a little bit more. The LEDs are not winning, Ed. Come on now. If anything, my DCC system's winning for being bugged out. Don't know what's going on. All right, we're going to give this another shot here. Let's see if it takes off on me. Okay, it didn't immediately start moving. That's exciting. And we're responding. Oh yeah. The LEDs are no longer winning, Ed. They look great. Awesome. Alrighty. So that means testing is now done on this thing. And Matt, I can get it all buttoned up. And back to you, my friend. We can finally get your juice train running with both locomotives with sound. That'll be exciting. Maybe I'll have to record a short the next time we're running at the club of your train and post it now that everybody's so familiar with your locomotives on the channel. Well, at least one of your locomotives. Matt also has a Athearn Genesis UP Ace as well, which is pretty cool. So, awesome. Yeah, sure. Sure, Rick, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so, yeah, I'll take you guys right to 9 here, but not going to be too much more exciting. Like I said earlier in the video, huge video dropping tomorrow. Brand new layout being started. And I won't go into more detail than that, other than, don't worry, I still model the Finger Lakes in some capacity. But anyway, yeah, we're embarking on a brand new adventure that should be very, very cool. That's for sure. Boy, oh boy, I got a rat's nest of wires here to wire manage before I put this back together. All right, well, I am gonna end the stream here, and we'll see you in a little bit here on Heathstream. Take care, everybody.